Well, hello and welcome aboard. Always nice to see you visiting the old Numismaniac, the AKA the Skipper. Glad to see Christopher Ty so bright and early. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at this. I'm hoping to have a really nice live feed today because we've got an interesting topic. As you can see scrolling by here, it's 1736 of the Lake of the Woods Massacre. And I've got an interesting short, not quite as long as the one last week, but gives you a little bit of insight into it. I want everybody to remember that the period of time that we're in this case, we're going right back to 1736. Boundaries were different, nations were different. We had quite a mixed bag. Crossing North America, you didn't have the borders well defined the way they are now. So there's going to be some cases where you're wondering, well, how are they getting from point A to point B? Well, let me tell you firsthand, the ground that they had to cover traveling across North America was not easy. I've driven it by car and took the lakehead around Lake Superior. And I can tell you, before those roads were nothing more than game trails and cart tracks, that is a incredibly rough country to get through. And if you didn't go through there, you were walking through Michigan and getting up through the mid states, and then coming north into the Manitoba area. And it's again very long, arduous travel. So this brings the point that because the country is so huge, and the fact that traders of all sorts, whether they be fur or whatever, we're trying to find ways to get across North America in the easiest way possible. And of course, the easiest way at that time was by water. So they did a lot of exploring and trying out different ways. And there wasn't a single route that was really that easy to get across. Almost a green acre. Oh, you were fishing at Lake of the Woods. That's wonderful. Yes, Christopher. That's good to see people popping in. I'll get into the meat of it in a minute here. I'll put on again a short video, but we can relax as we allow a few more folks to get in so they can get a little bit more information on this. But the crux of it all, this story is going to involve a French gentleman and his son and 22 voyageurs, cours de bois, as they were once known, and what happened to them. And it also will also discuss, where they were trying to head, and the fact that there was some issues with misidentifying people. So, and of course, if you're a part of the North American Aboriginal community, I guess we foreigners who were invading their country all look the same with their frilly outfits and their funny hats. So, how is everyone today? Almost a green acre. I think that's the first time I think I've seen you in. Very nice to see new people coming on board. Yeah, I'll give it 5 minutes if anybody like to chit chat a little bit, and then we'll get onto the meat of the live feed. I will also, if you have something that's bona fide that you'd like to share, I'll even invite you up today. Well, thank you very much. Almost a green acre. That's very nice of you to sub to us. You're more than welcome into the channel. We're building. We're almost to 1,000 right now. We're getting there. I hope that if you have a keen interest in Canadian coinage, we have a daily challenge for people. Unlike many of the channels that are out there, They're like Nick Molnar's a good example. They're providing the information on the coins. I've turned that around so that I'm challenging you to find the information, regardless whether it be on Google it or Coins in Canada, or if you happen to have a Charlton. I want you to get used to looking up your own information. And that's part of the hobby, to be able to do the research on these things. Because a lot of the young collectors, all they'll do is they'll ask someone that's been around for a while and expect all the information from that one person and not do any of their own homework. Well, that's fine for the interim, but to really get proficient in this hobby, regardless of what country you're looking up, you got to know where to look up the information. Internet's a wonderful tool. They've got all kinds of stuff you can look up. I'm located in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Where are you located there? Almost a green acre. Hello, Mark's Asylum. How are you doing? Hey, Guido. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I just spotted that here. Oh, New Brunswick. Actually, yeah, I lived in St. John in the early 70s. I actually lived in both East and West St. John. McKeel Street was one of the places I lived. I used to overlook the pulp mill at the Reversing Falls, not just down the road from the Alpine Brewery. Yeah, and believe it or not, I'm originally from Ontario as well. I got posted east in the military, so that's how I ended up in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. And I actually got posted out here in Alberta in July of 1977. Boy, did I just date myself here. And I stayed until my retirement in July of 1990. And then I went back and I learned how to become a civilian. Yeah. The heartland in New Brunswick's gorgeous. I mean, the change, the fall colors, the trees, the long wooden wood covered bridges. Those were quite fascinating. Oh, 90 miles south of Fort Francis, Ontario. You're well. I was Windsor, Ontario. I was really south. Yeah, give us a place to stand and give us a place to go, and I'll give you Ontario. Couldn't afford to live there now, though. Well, how are we looking here? Heartland is gorgeous. Yeah, got to see Magnetic Hill and all that stuff. Yeah, I'd recommend anybody, even if they're on the East Coast, want to come up through Maine, go to New Brunswick, check out the Loyalist cemeteries, and a lot of history up there, tons and tons. And maybe if you're really lucky, you can get down to the Bay of Fundy and do a little bit of jigging and find out what it's like to fish salt water. Yeah, yeah, I know how far away you are, Christopher. Yeah, a little bit further, but you know what? Most of you look at the family research, most of our families come from over there. Come to think of it, some of my family actually went back. So, yeah. So let's start it off with a short film. I see. I may not be getting my partner Dale on here, which I feel lost without because his insight is quite welcome. But he's watching European football, and apparently I daresn't drag him away from it. So let's take a quick look. I got this wonderful little video that I found that outlines a little bit about what I'm about to talk to you about today, and we'll get chatting about it. Hi, Tommy.
You can hardly overemphasize the importance of this. It's just a great history, and not just Minnesota history. It's Canadian history, it's Western history, it's the history of travel and exploration.
At that particular time, ships, if they wanted to go to the Orient, had to go all the way around the tip of Africa or the tip of South America, making a journey to the Orient 3, sometimes even up to 4 years. There was this perpetual hope that they could find a Northwest Passage, some way to get across North America.
Almost all of that begins with the travel and exploration of a single family.
Sieur de Laverendrye is a soldier for the king, Louis XIV and Louis XV, and he and his sons and nephews take off across the Great Lakes.
Most of those trips were done without government financing. At the very, very tip of the northwest angle, he built a fort, Fort St. Charles.
At Fort St. Charles, they're trading with the Assiniboine, they're trading with the Cree, they're trading with various bands of the Sioux.
It was kind of a point where they would go off and build other forts. So there were about 9, 10 forts farther west and farther north of Fort St. Charles. One of the important historical things, or what people get excited about on Lake of the Woods, is the story about Massacre Island. And that was one of Laverendrye's sons, and 19 voyageurs and a priest, Father All-New, were going east to meet a resupply team, and they were all killed.
The bodies of the priest and Laverendrye the younger are left whole, but the voyageurs, the 19 voyageurs, are actually beheaded.
This wasn't an insignificant event. It was, the French called them Sioux. They were Dakota that killed all these voyageurs and traders. That began a war between the Dakota and Ojibwe that lasted a long, long time.
The elder Laverendrye has his son's body, the body of the priest, brought back, as well as the heads of the individuals retrieved from Massacre Island and taken to Fort St. Charles. Laverendrye the elder keeps moving west to try to find the Northwest Passage, and at some point, the bodies are essentially forgotten about. As the water changes, as the tides go in and out, the spot is actually lost. The Fort St. Charles essentially collapses. Around the turn of the 19th to 20th century, the priest family finds a cache of letters. And in the cache of letters, it becomes more clear where the priest is buried. And then it's in the 20th century that there's a massive effort to find the priest. They finally discover 2 skeletons, and they're pretty dang well certain that they belong to the priest and Jean-Baptiste Laverendrye. Some of the 19 skulls, not all of the 19 skulls, are recovered.
Just kind of excites the imagination of historians mostly. And Fort St. Charles, that was a big thing when it was rediscovered, and recreating that fort was a pretty big deal. Ownership of that land was a big deal. It had changed hands many, many times before it was finally given to the state of Minnesota.
Funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage.
Well, you've got to admit that's an interesting story, and a very violent period. But the thing that from what I've read here, is that they actually that was a case of misidentifying the people that were involved. So I believe that those voyageurs, if the natives had known who they were, they wouldn't have died, which is quite interesting, especially since apparently Laverendrye he spent time in Kaministiquia and dealing with a lot of the native elders there, and they were supposed to have a fairly good working relationship, or at least an understanding. But essentially, they were killed by what they referred to as the Sioux of the Prairie. So, yeah, after all that event, of course, he had to report back to the appropriate ministers in New France what was going on. It was not a pretty picture. And of course, this guy's heartbroken because he's lost his son. It's another one of those wonderful cases of a very violent era to live in, and those are the type of risks that these people were taking, especially since, again, it all came around to trying to find a shortcut across North America that would make it easier for the fur trade. And it didn't turn out that well this time around. So I read in this chat that someone's been up that way to the Lake of the Woods. That area is a rather unusual area because it's one of those ones where the cartographers really messed up. And you can see that it's not all 49th parallel all the way across Canada and the United States. You got a lot of zigzags, especially around the lake heads. And when you take a look at the border as it goes through the Great Lakes, it's quite a bit different. So, well, imagine it was not an easy life for these people, and that there were tragedies, massacres that took place. Now, I'm going to throw, being that my partner isn't here to chit-chat about things, would anybody care to come up and chit-chat, as long as we're polite and, this is a family-friendly channel where we're trying to learn. Would someone like to come up and chat with me? No takers. Oh my goodness. Well, I can talk a little bit about what's been going on this week, numismatic wise, then, since we haven't got any more discussion on the massacres and tragedies that went on through Canada through history. And like I say, I'll be bringing up a different one every single week. But this week's been fun, numismatic wise. I've picked up a few new pieces. Picked up what is a 2024 $20 fine silver coin I picked up for the anniversary of the Royal Canadian Air Force, and you can see that on my YouTube channel too. We'll go over some of the stuff. Wait a minute here. You were watching me eat. I'm sorry. I'm just catching the channel. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Why was that working that way? I don't understand it. Well, instead of that, let me just switch around here. I can put that video on one more time so that you guys can actually see the thing. I don't know what happened there. That is disgraceful. Yeah, okay. We don't need that one. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I would like to find a larger video too, but it's going to take a little bit of research. Okay, let's do this correctly this time.
You can hardly overemphasize the importance of this. It's just a great history, and not just Minnesota history, it's Canadian history, it's Western history, it's the history of travel and exploration.
At that particular time, ships, if they wanted to go to the Orient, had to go all the way around the tip of Africa or the tip of South America, making a journey to the Orient 3, sometimes even up to 4 years. There was this perpetual hope that they could find a Northwest Passage, some way to get across North America.
Almost all of that begins with the travel and exploration of a single family.
Sieur de Laverendrye is a soldier for the king, Louis XIV and Louis XV, and he and his sons and nephews take off across the Great Lakes.
Most of those trips were done without government financing. At the very, very tip of the northwest angle, he built a fort, Fort St. Charles.
At Fort St. Charles, they're trading with the Assiniboine, they're trading with the Cree, they're trading with various bands of the Sioux.
It was kind of a point where they would go off and build other forts. So there were about 9, 10 forts farther west and farther north of Fort St. Charles. One of the important historical things, or what people get excited about on Lake of the Woods, is the story about Massacre Island. And that was one of Laverendrye's sons, and 19 voyageurs and a priest, Father All-New, were going east to meet a resupply team, and they were all killed.
The bodies of the priest and Laverendrye the younger are left whole, but the voyageurs, the 19 voyageurs, are actually beheaded.
This wasn't an insignificant event. It was, the French called them Sioux. They were Dakota that killed all these voyageurs and traders. That began a war between the Dakota and Ojibwe that lasted a long, long time.
The elder Laverendrye has his son's body, the body of the priest, brought back, as well as the heads of the individuals retrieved from Massacre Island and taken to Fort St. Charles. Laverendrye the elder keeps moving west to try to find the Northwest Passage, and at some point, the bodies are essentially forgotten about. As the water changes, as the tides go in and out, the spot is actually lost. The Fort St. Charles essentially collapses. Around the turn of the 19th to 20th century, the priest family finds a cache of letters. And in the cache of letters, it becomes more clear where the priest is buried. And then it's in the 20th century that there's a massive effort to find the priest. They finally discover 2 skeletons, and they're pretty dang well certain that they belong to the priest and Jean-Baptiste Laverendrye. Some of the 19 skulls, not all of the 19 skulls, are recovered.
Just kind of excites the imagination of historians mostly. And Fort St. Charles, that was a big thing when it was rediscovered, and recreating that fort was a pretty big deal. Ownership of that land was a big deal. It had changed hands many, many times before it was finally given to the state of Minnesota.
Very interesting stuff. Seems like a very quiet Monday today. With everything that's been going on this week, I'm not surprised. It's been pretty active. Father's Day is over. My wife enjoyed her birthday, I hope, and I've had some very interesting things happening in the numismatic world with me. Right now, I'm looking at a package that's arriving from Florida, and we're doing. I'm not sure how you call it. It's not the typical grab bag swap that I've ever done before. It was initiated by one person, and there's 9 or 10 of us involved. The package is sent out. It's about $200 worth of various coins, sent out to the first person, and that person opens it up, picks out what they would like to have from that collection, then adds an equivalent amount back into the package and mails it to the next person. And eventually goes all the way around in a big circle and ends up coming back to the original person. And hopefully by the time she gets it back, it's all new. It's all different stuff, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit pricey going over the border, but it's part of the game. It's like, well, what are you going to get? And of course, I'm trying to build up my U.S. collection, so I've lots of Canadian. I've got a nice little stash here of Canadian stuff that I'm going to put in, including silver and whatnot. And hopefully I'll be able to start rebuilding my U.S. collection, because right now it's deplorable. I think I have one Morgan dollar, a package of Merc dimes that I missed because they were supposed to be in with the ones I sold. Thank goodness I didn't send it. But essentially build up the U.S. collection, not as big as before, but at least I'll have a better selection, and I can do a little bit of trading and whatnot within the community, because, as you know, most of the guys and gals that are on here are from the U.S. My British coins are fine. That's coming along very well. But again, that's another niche. I mean, if you're not into British, I'm into British, Canadian, and U.S. and trying to get at least one coin from every other country in the planet, whether those countries gone or not. I'd like to have all those in alphabetical order and in one album, for the sake of just interest. And yeah, I am definitely looking forward to getting this package. Went all over the United States. I was looking at the United States Postal Service tracking, and I don't know what they're thinking, because to go from Florida clear across multiple stops through the United States, end up in Vancouver, Washington, and then fly to Vancouver, Washington, or Vancouver, BC, and then fly east now to get to Alberta. Good grief. Yeah. Yeah, 2-pack. I can understand you having to work on your packages. There's got to be quite a bit. Wow. Well, being that my partner, I'm lost without Dale. I can't bounce anything off him anymore. Uh, I got good news for you. Dale will be up and running here soon. He's got himself a nice house in a new community. It's a really cute little place. Kind of reminds me of Darby O'Gill and the Little People, the way with the old English, 17th century uh, houses and businesses. It's very cool looking. Hope they got some modern conveniences, not just outhouses and stuff. But anyway, Christopher, I'll behave myself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having them back. So with that, in the meantime, I'm going to cut it a little bit short today. I'm the old skipper's a bit tuckered out from all the gallivanting yesterday with the wife and daughter, so I'm going to take it easy. Meantime, keep an eye out for the Canadian Coin Challenge done daily, and I will tell you that over the course of the next 6 months, twice, whoever has put in the most effort and given me the best detail will get on that list for a 5-ounce copper round. And there's 2 of them. There's one midway and one at the end. And these are pretty. Now, you may not be keen on copper, but these are a gift from West Edmonton Coin and Stamp. So I'm looking forward to have that. Really? Yeah, there are quite a few of them. I haven't seen anything in circulation yet, but apparently people like Darren has Dimebag Darren Lowe. He's actually found some Charles III in the wild, which is kind of cool. Uh, I'm lazy. I'll just go down the coin store and I'll get a couple sets, or I picked up a roll of 50-cent pieces with King Charles effigy on it. So I'll make those available. I'll break it down and throw it into my grab bags, or if we do any prizes or stuff down the road, or did I decide to sell a few on eBay? I don't know. I've been away from that for quite a while. But yeah, it's a lot of fun building these up, and I do love the British coins, and I'm hoping to see them out soon, a lot more. And there's Ogre Coins. Very nice to see you on board. Yeah. Yeah, you'll be happy to know, Ogre. You one of my parcels ended up in your city. Yeah, the other thing, I think I mentioned that earlier. The new Charlton is out for 2024, but it's the first time I've ever seen the Charlton come out that had 2024 and 2025. Because it took them nearly 6 months just to get this issue out. I don't know what was happening. Yeah, I'm having a break too. My daughter and wife are they're out. Gosh, I don't know, spending money, I guess. But when they get back, they're dragging me out, and we're going to the Ashford. The Ashford is an Irish pub. Folks that own it are actually right directly from Ireland. I'm not sure north or south, but they do make really good fish and chips. So I'm being treated. This is my Father's Day treat. A little late, but the girls went out to watch Riverdance, which was canceled. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But yeah, I get to enjoy that, and might even indulge and get myself a nice cold glass of Guinness. That would be nice. Don't have that very often. Oh yes, they if you can get a traditional style place to make proper fish and chips, nothing like it. Nothing like it at all. And I found that even in the UK when I went looking for fish and chips. I never went to the touristy places like Brighton, Plymouth. You go to the little English pubs. Man, some of those pubs have got some of the best food ever. Yeah, and for those of you that caught me eating my breakfast, I apologize. I had you just ruined it, Christopher. Oh, that's my wife's thing. She puts those mushy peas. You have to grow up with them. I tried to eat them, but I'm sorry. It for those of you that've never had them, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the mushy peas I experienced tasted basically like way overcooked cooked peas boiled in baking soda. That's what it tasted like, and it was just like, oh, really? No, you can keep the room temperature Guinness. Not going to happen. I like it ice cold in a proper Guinness glass with a proper size head. Yeah, that's yeah, no. Hello, Carl. Where do you hail from? And he's drinking Guinness now. Well, it's 1:30 in the afternoon here in Alberta, so it's getting close to that time. But the old skipper can't drink his ales and his beers or his mead like he used to. It's just not going to happen. My young liver has grown old. Oh yeah, yeah. Beer's got to be cold, and it's got to be good beer. A Sleeman's Honey Brown would be nice, but yeah, they've got some good beer out there. Do not feed me Heineken or Carlsberg. I drank so much of that when I was posted to Europe. I don't want to ever see it again. Good beer though. Good beer was Gold Star out of Israel. That was really tremendously good beer. Guys, you're making me thirsty. Yeah. Speaking of Israel, yeah, I've just been working on one of my sheets. Remember, I told you I could do them in alphabetical order. Well, I'm right now working on I. Yeah, I've taken one shelf of my computer desk, and that one shelf is set up in such a way that it's done in such a way that I can sort all my coins out. These I got from Costco. I used to have a dessert in them, but I've got enough of them now where I can sort them by denomination. And as I feed through them, I find the ones I want. Dublin. You're a Dublin Scot, are you? My family hails from close to Dublin. But that was a long time ago. A long time. I would love to go back there and just see if I can find any family left. Yeah, but after I did my DNA research, I found family members back to the 1700s, and so I know who's who's coming from where. At least that far. No, Christopher Ty, it's a long, long way to Tipperary. Come on. Yeah, my family came over here in and around 1845. Well, you can wonder why. Well, there's your answer, Christopher. 2 hours away by car. Yeah, the area that I would be going to, forgive my pronunciation because I'm terrible. It's Fermanagh. Fermanagh. Probably butchered that one terribly. Yeah, with regards to the ancestry DNA, I was really shocked. Of course, everybody that's can trace their family back to Ireland want to be, we're Irish, right? Said, boy, oh boy, was I shocked to see how much Scottish was in there. Scottish, Welsh, English, and I think I only had 24% Irish. That's it. Yeah, that's where my family hails from, right there. Yeah, you guys got some interesting coins over there. I really like the some of the Irish coinage. We're not talking the euros. Even the euros, you know what? That's the one thing I do like about the euros is the euros. Each country you go into, it's still a euro can be worked back and forth, but the fact that they have their own designs on it, whether it be something with the Arc de Triomphe or the whatever, had each country has made their own euro their own, which is kind of cool. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you for letting me know that, Carl. Yeah, there's my good friend Darren Dimebag Darren doing his thing. I'm recycling old Will Hay jokes from Oh Mr. Potter, one of the best train-based comedies along the Titfield Thunderbolt. I thought I heard a lot, but I've never heard that before. Well, you're more than welcome, Carl, to join us in the live stream. It's great. Um, it's especially special if you're really into learning. This channel isn't really a gaming channel, other than the fact I do have a challenge going for people to learn how to look up their own information on Canadian coins, and you're rewarded every 7 days. I'll send out a sticker to the person that did the best, and if it's exceptional, I'll even throw a coin in. But every 42 and 84 days. The 42nd day, I'm awarding a 5-ounce copper round, and then at the next cycle, I'll do another copper round, 5-ounce. And these are donated by West Edmonton Coin and Stamp, which is really cool. Yes, I do really. I visit Try to visit everybody I can, Ogre. Yeah. Christopher Ty's got a great bit, and again, it's trying to support each other in the community. And also, you take a look at certain people do certain twists in the community, whether it be duck races or the Wheel of Fortune or uh, uh, auctions, or just teaching people about the different details on coins. Um, just and we have crossovers where we got metal detecting and magnet fishing, and then all the treasures they find, and they're getting into collecting coins as well. So it's really a cool community. I got to get into. I should have a coin battle with Darren one of these days. That would be fun. I just have to figure out which one I want to do. He's more apt to do something like quarters. To coerce my wife to let me get a box of quarters and do a challenge. Well, Carl, here's what I'm going to do here. See if I can do it on here. Can I do that? Okay, let's fix you up here. Okay, Carl, go ahead and put your link in. Anybody else that hasn't put their link in, please do. Support each other. This year, I haven't found anything. It's all there, Ogre. I'm not like previous years. But then again, too, I haven't been incredibly active because I'm using a cane or a walker to get around, and that's first off, it looks pretty lame me trying to metal detect with a walker. But the fields where I would like to metal detect, I have to get my hip fixed up first, and so I'm basically sitting there staring at my bloody metal detectors, going, "Play with me." Man, would I ever like to? So. Oh, yeah. I'm always curious about that. You go to these garage sales and you find sterling silver and all this stuff, and then you sell it to a mid dealer, or do you go directly to the refiner, or what? I'm curious how you do that. Oh yeah, I'm subscribed to you, Carl. Good. Yeah, you're right. Actually, my grandson Jacob is the one that's really into coin collecting, and I've been trying to coerce his dad, my son, to bring him out, and might as well let him use. The heck do I have up there? I don't want to give him the bounty. I could give him the bounty hunter to use. But I have a knockoff of a Garrett up there that works pretty good. Yeah, the best news that I've heard lately, and I have to admit, is the fact that Dansko is now reproducing albums where they had been stopped for so long, because I want my U.S. collection in nice albums. No, I don't want the Whitman or the Littleton anymore. I'm sick of those. I would like to have something on par with our Lighthouse Vista albums. That the Dansko albums, their covers are nicer looking than the Vista, but as far as the pages, they're almost identical. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll start seeing the prices coming down. Yeah, I think I caught one of them, 2-pack. I'm going to have to go back and take another look. I know it's frustrating, isn't it, Nick? Yeah. That's one of my fondest memories as a child is my grandfather was into trains. And his entire how my grandmother ever put up with him, because he was a heavy Irish drinker, and he would get absolutely pie-eyed, sit down in the middle of his train tracks in the basement. And his basement, you couldn't see anything but trains. And it was rough on me because I wanted to play with the bloody things. He wouldn't let me. I could look at them, but I couldn't touch. But there he was. Oh yeah, this is the life. Yeah. And that I understand. I did a collection dump to one of the coin shops a while back, and boy, you don't get much for your coins. They want to make a profit, so they're going to adjust it accordingly. And if you've got something valuable, you better know what you have in your collection, because a lot of these guys will take advantage of you. Well, there are some fair ones, but again, if you don't know them, yeah. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, yeah, my grandfather would have liked you. Yeah. I have no room for anything like that for trains. I don't have room. If you look in the background, I don't have much room for anything anymore. This space is mine, not my wife's, not anybody else. This is my space. So this is the man cave, so to speak. My wife calls it my coin room. But this where I've got everything I want. I got my nice chair and computer station and all my books. I collect, as you can see behind me. I also collect books, most of which are military related, but I also have my encyclopedias, which I can actually sit down instead of googling it. I like to look at it. I probably read that thing 3 times. Yeah, I know you did, Nick. It's gotten ridiculous. One of the things that I've noticed in Edmonton proper here, they're very lucky. We have what they call it the super flea market here. And we've got guys, it's only open 2 days a week, but they rent the stalls in there. And it's for significantly less money than you would for a normal brick and mortar. But that's where I get my best deals on my coins. I've gotten some really nice pieces out of there because they've got 2 or 3 coin dealers that actually sell out of there. Yeah, okay, I'll tell my wife that. She's already complaining that I'm taking up too much space. Well, yeah, it all depends. Nick, I know you've got a fair amount of stock left over from when you had your location. Uh, have you been very successful online trying to sell some of the stuff you have? One of my associates is Alex Archbold. He had Curiosity Incorporated. He did his one kick at the cat of having a brick and mortar location for his endeavors, and he decided to pull and give it all up because overall it was just too big a headache. He was spending 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day away from his family and trying to fill this storefront, and he was not. The return wasn't there, so he put everything in auction to Kastner's auction, and now he still goes around to various estate sales and garage sales, and he sells everything online or through Kastner. Good to see Silver Tea in the house. Yes. Well, that's good to hear, Nick. Yeah, Coin Show is actually funny. I missed that one since I worked the bloody things. Yes, it is a good place to go. In Edmonton here, they actually have you can rent yourself a table for a decent price for the weekend. Usually we have one in the fall, one in the spring, and it's believe it or not, Canada's largest coin show. And the setup they do is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. They also have a meet and greet for those that are selling at these things, and it's a good place to pick up coins. You also find out just how much people are paying. You know what they say in the books and what people are actually trying to sell them for. I found quite a bit different. There's one, oh gosh, I can't even remember which one it was. I think it was a 10-cent piece earlier, key date. Can't remember which one it is. But I look a ballpark figure. I said, "Oh yeah, it's got to be maybe $150." Went in, the guy had one there, and of course, it had been graded. And he looked. He says, "Yeah, $1,500." Well, if I had told my wife that I was going to spend $1,500 on a dime, I wouldn't have lasted very long. So heck, if I'm going to spend that much, I'm going to spend that money on a 47 Maple Leaf or 1948 silver dollar. 48 would probably cost me $3,000. But anyway. And speaking of being a long ways away, there's my dream holiday is going to New Zealand. Yeah, I would have been. Yeah, I would have been. She would have had me drawn and quartered. I mean, holy cow. Okay, since Dale's not here again, I'm going to put a little invite up here. Anybody wants to come up and chit chat? Just there we. Oh, it didn't work. Why didn't that work? Strange. StreamYard's giving me grief. Yep. I'll try the back door. Do I make a good effigy? There. Yes. I would really like to get more people into actually learning how to research. And this is one of the websites I want you to start learning about for coinsincanada.com. It's tremendous. I mean, it really does a nice job of breaking everything down for you. Including variations and whatnot. Keep this in mind for a potential site for doing research on your Canadian coins. Another one is, let's see, what would it be? Oh, yes. There we go. This is the Saskatoon Coin Club. And what's really nice about this particular website for researching your coins is that it has great articles on trying to figure out things like coin grading. Okay, and here's a good example how they've done it. And you can actually see how they've got the Canadian coins laid out for you. And I'll give you an example here. Let's just take random here. Okay, here's a good example. Here you go. There, that's what I wanted to show you. What I like about this is that you can take your coins and you can actually hold them up and take a look at these pictures and get a ballpark what you could evaluate the things at. Again, VF, VG, around that should be the minimum you should have in your collection. But of course, you got some slicks or you've got something hold. They can be used as placeholders, but try to get the best quality coin that you can get. And this is what I love about this particular website is that it actually shows all the different all the different grades, what they should look like. Oh, I wish. Ooh, nice toning on that one. And there's my friend Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hello.
Thought this would get your attention.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Yeah. It's so important. Now, Nick, guys, is probably the best example of a guy that shares information, details on the coins. He's a resource that you could use. So if you're going to do this challenge with me, I've already told you, I'm not going to provide you any information other than I'll show you a picture of the coin, both obverse and reverse. And I'm going to say, okay, give me the details as much as you can. This is an opportunity for you guys to earn a sticker, or if you're really diligent, earn a coin. Every 7 days I do this. So it's you just breeze through it. And at the end of the 42nd day, you could go back all the way through them all and fill it. If you missed a bunch, fill them in, because I'm going to go back at day 42 and I'm going to see who has contributed the most into the research of these coins. I want you to learn how to do this. And looking at using Google is not cheating. It's called a resource.
That's right.
Right? And I have people coming, I feel really guilty if I Googled it. That's not the purpose of this game. The game is to encourage you to look it up. I don't care if it's the coins in Canada, using a Charlton or the Saskatoon Coin Club, checking out Nick's videos, and he's got tons of them. You can find out all the information you need, and then you cut and paste it, put it in there. I don't care how, but I want you to learn how to research. And what do you think about that, Nick?
That's great. Absolutely. Coins in Canada is a great resource. I use it all the time. I actually use a couple different ones as well. Because Coins in Canada doesn't always have all the stats on certain Canadian coins, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love what you're doing. I could sit down and just type it all out and not even have to look. Coins in Canada. I'll still wait. I'll let other people have a chance.
Yeah. I do like the Saskatoon Coin Club, though. If you want to try to get an evaluation for your coin, it really gives you that pop of, oh, that's what it should look like if it's an MS66. You know, it just helps you visually to get an idea. And eventually you get to the point where you don't need the chart anymore. You can take a look. Oh, that's a VG, whatever. You'd be able to do that quite quickly.
Have you ever tried this site here? I'll put it in the chat here. You can see it's another great resource too. That's the English version of the Numis.
Oh, Numismatics. Yes, that is a very good site.
They did give you a little bit more description on coins and everything too.
Numismatics is another one.
Yeah, and there's one other one. Let me see if I can find it.
And those of you into ancients, the classical numismatics, you've got Wild Winds on the internet. You look up Wild Winds, it's very good, very detailed. And that's a whole different class of numismatics. It's tough.
And if you really, really want to get really into it, like I do with my research, on the coins, I also go to this site here, which I'm sure you've heard about. Bank of Canada Museum.
Oh yeah, of course.
I use that one all the time too. I had it bookmarked on banknotes, so I just gave that note there. But that's another great one there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great resources to look up coins. I'm sure there's even more out there too
Mm-hmm.
that we don't even know about.
Again, it's just that's one of the fun things about it, doing the research. And I encourage everyone that has a collection, start whether you use Numista or an Excel spreadsheet, whatever, start cataloging your collection.
That's something I need to do. Catalog.
Yeah, it doesn't take. I should be able to bring that up. Let's see if I
Hey,
can.
William E. Hello.
Oh, I know what
I might
Yes.
get my daughter when she gets back from Nova Scotia to help me with this spreadsheet thing on Google Spreadsheets or whatever.
I can send you a blank that has all the coins for Canada.
Oh,
I have them. I made them.
oh, cool. Right.
Let's see. I'm taking. You want? Yes, circulating coins. That's what I want.
Something is wrong with YouTube today.
Why? What's happening?
I'm trying to upload a video. It's not working properly. It's probably because it's a sports card video and not a coin video.
Okay, this is a good one. I'll use this one. Just have to- Over here, I'm still learning on this one. Present, share. No, that's not it. Window. There it is. Found it. See if that works. You see that okay?
Oh,
You see
okay.
You see the spreadsheet?
Sort of. Yeah.
I'm not blocking it or anything. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Let me go full screen. Okay, yeah, I can see it there. Oh, all right.
This is how you can do a spreadsheet. Now this is for my pennies, and I got the approximate values down there, and you can see it's built in so that all the functions are there, so you have an idea how much your collection is worth. There's my 25-cent ones. There's my 50-cent ones there, and it's not complicated. I use yellow to show. Well, I'm missing those. I got ones to fill. There's my dollar ones,
Oh, that's cool. Right on.
and it works very, very good. But yeah, $1 circulation. Go all the way back.
Yeah, YouTube is messing up.
Yeah, it's very, very. In my mind, it's very important to be able to record it, even for insurance purposes. United States have got insurance for coin collections. Canada, you can have it, but I went through my insurance company's AMA, and they have a $10,000 limit. So I've got my collection, protected up to that amount, but it doesn't anywhere come near the amount that I have it here.
That's like my sports cards
Yeah.
that we have in the house. Yeah, it's the same thing. Only up to like 25,000, and I'm way over that.
On Ucoin, does the spreadsheet automatically? Not familiar. No, my spreadsheets, I've got the functions built in, so it will automatically do that. But when you look at Numista, that's I wish I'd started with that, because you can take a picture of your coin, you can get a whole whack of details, you can compare it to other people's. It's pretty cool. But for this old timer who started really, the wrong time to do that, I'm not about to spend hours and hours putting it into another one. It's just too much work.
You must have a pretty good collection still going.
Yeah, I can see some of it in the one case. I got 3 cases.
I know you had to sell a bunch off, what, 3 years
Oh,
ago?
well,
for
I
the
sold.
furnace?
I sold off my silver stack, which I'm building up again. But again, because of the high cost of silver, I don't buy as much. Buy low, sell high. That's the way it should be.
That's right. Or
But-
hey, or win it.
Or win it. I love winning. I sold off my entire U.S. collection, with the exception I missed one. I kind of glad I did. I had my Mercdime folder, Littleton folder, and somehow that got missed. Yay! So I don't have to worry about that part. But I'm starting all over again with my U.S. ones. Sold them all off back in the fall. Said, okay, now start. But I was not about to sell my Canadian or my British and my world coin set. So, and of course, collection is split. I have the older coins, and I also have the mint coins, the stuff you're never going to get your money back from.
Right.
But I do those because I love the designs, and they're all military themed. So I that's my thing. Yeah. Just a lot of people don't, as you know, Nick, they don't display their coins. A lot of people just throw them into their safe deposit boxes or their safes, and hopefully with lots of levels of security. And they only bring them out every once in a while. They'll check on them. Whereas me, I love displays.
I would love to display everything too. I just don't have the room right now. If my basement right now, it looks like a card shop. So,
Yeah, I can well imagine.
like I have shelves of sports cards and packs of cards and comic books everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 years. I have my son and daughter-in-law are moving in here in August, and we're now downsizing. The only spaces that aren't being affected too much is this one here, and 1 bedroom up in the next level. But because of the downsizing, a lot of the stuff is got to be cleared out. And I'm thinking ahead 3 years from now, I'm going into a senior's residence. Well, holy crap. Senior's residence will be maybe twice the size of the space I have just here. So what am I going to do with all these cases and whatnot? So I'm going to bite the bullet, because I'm sure my wife is not going to want to have all my coin displays in the front room.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We got Marlin in the house.
So you're going to be doing some like going into a condo?
Yeah, well, the seniors residents have got on-site help. You've got
My wife's parents are in one of those.
a communal area, and you have an area where you got folks that really need the extra help, and then you have the separate living apartments where you can, you have your own kitchenette, you can
Right.
cook your own meals, stuff. That's what I'd be looking at, because I want to have some place that has a little bit of privacy. I don't need, if I can wander out and play some crib or euchre with somebody, I'd love it. But
No more yard work.
no more. I can't do the yard work, and I can't bend. So
Yeah. That's when they moved from they had a big, huge 1,800 square foot home plus, They downsized and did the same thing that you're going to be doing in a few years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, eventually we all have to take a look at that, and I don't need this. Truthfully, I really don't need this space. I mean, for the last 10 years, it's just been my wife and I.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not looking to move anymore. Um, where we're at, we're staying, and that'll be it. Especially now with the new rules. Oh my God, can't even gift the place to my kids. They're gonna get with capital gains now. Yeah. Thanks, Trudeau.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at ways to get around that.
You let me know.
Yeah, yeah, you and me both.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's just, and of course, I'm going to be looking at, well, how much is this seniors residence going to cost me? I mean, generally speaking, they're pretty expensive, but running a house now is getting really expensive.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think my in-laws they in the place they got for 290,000, but that's been like almost 10 years ago now. So
Mhm. Well, I just got my updated land tax, and it's over $3,400 a year now just for my land tax.
that's up there. Ours is I'm just over 4,000 a year.
Oh, yeah, you're in
Uh,
Ontario.
Ontario, yeah, that'll do it.
We're in Alberta where we try to be fair. It's not fair enough as far as I'm concerned.
I have to pay $1,096 come in 8 days, the 25th.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, ooh. Yeah, no,
bills got up.
Silver Tea not for at least 3 years.
I guess it's the area you're living in. It's high volume. They can raise the taxes and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm in the suburbs. I mean, when I first had the house built here 22 years ago, we were just on the edge of the River Cree Cree Nation here, and it was all bush. So I had wildlife wandering here. We had deer and moose and coyotes, you name it. We had them wandering through our yards and stuff. A lot of pets went missing. Anyway, now wall to wall housing, and not just housing, they're starting to build these big apartment complexes, and they
Oh
haven't
wow.
updated the roads. So these roads will not be able to handle the volume of traffic on all the house. So it's gone from a nice woodland, farmy type area to hardcore city.
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I was
Ouch.
thinking about moving to Morinville a number of years ago, but I just didn't want to move into a mobile home.
Think my medication's wearing off. Oh my God.
Yeah, medication. Gotta love getting older and having all these illnesses.
Yeah, my leg's been bad today. We had to go out and pick up some stuff, and it's like almost 40 Celsius right now out there, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to
and,
get home, get into the air conditioned house.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
Are you cold?
It's chilly here today.
Is it? Yeah. Not here in Ontario. It's exactly what it is right now.
We're getting all the water that we didn't get over the winter. It has been raining constantly for the last month.
Okay, it says feels like 36 Celsius.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's the temperature outside?
Silvertano, he's got some. They're like in the winter there in New Zealand right now.
That's
I
right.
think.
But I bet you're still not as bad as our winters. thing I didn't like about Ontario was just so in the wintertime it's so damp. It's like, well, you got a wet cold down there, whereas ours is a dry cold.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Our winter was pretty mild this year. We had a couple days that were cold there, and we got dumped on with snow a bit, but
Okay,
it
it's
wasn't.
13 Celsius.
You wish it was 40 Celsius, Silvertano. Yeah, it's cold down there in New Zealand right now.
Yeah, I love I can't wait to go to New Zealand. I hope I get there before I have to freaking use a motorized vehicle to move.
They someplace I wanted to go was Australia too.
I like Australia, but just about every critter you look at wants to kill you there. I mean, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
Why I didn't move to Medicine Hat or Lethbridge area. Freaking, they got critters down there that want to kill you. The worst thing we get up here is yellow jackets, maybe some wolf spiders.
Well, I'm gonna drop down because I'm in a little bit of pain at the moment.
Well, you know, I appreciate you
Thanks
coming.
for having me up. Appreciate it. Yeah.
I'm actually gonna call. It's been a kind of a short live feed today, but I'm pooped out because the girls wiped me out yesterday. Birthday, Father's Day, all this stuff going on. So I'm just
Keeping you busy.
yeah, I know. So everybody who's come in, including my friend Nick,
Nice.
thank you for joining me in my live feed today.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to have another massacre and a historical fact from Canada that come up, and keep an eye out for those daily challenges, guys. Join in and don't be afraid to Google the information. The more you participate, the better your chance of getting a prize, which is really cool.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take care.